And here I am, tucked in the corner at one of the kids' house that are over at our place. So I gotta clear the screen here. Gotta get it. Okay. And I know it's last minute, Jennifer, but you know, this is what I am, and I love it. I rewrote a song that I haven't played for over a year on Sundays with Spirit, and I rewrote it. And I'm going to kick off with that. Is that okay? If I make a mistake, you wouldn't even know. Okay. The men of old found this land, for the war took a stand. Freedom is what we seek, a free land of liberty where a man can raise a family. Seek the Lord, live in peace, and it will grow, it will grow. It will grow. Love will make it so. Have we all been made blind to the life the Lord had in mind? Are we victims of the silver screen, advertising in pride and greed, where pockets are lined with gold, and their claim that's all that can be sold? I tell these men that live on greed, supply the things that we all need, serve the soul and not just your hands. Take all you need, then feed the land, so we can raise our families. Seek the Lord and live in peace, and it will grow. It will grow. It will grow. Love will make it so. Now it's a shame to walk this land, see how it is out of hand. Our children no longer safe, in schools where they're forbid to pray. I speak to you on Capitol Hill. You're not there to serve your will. A belief in God, it found this land. You're there to serve the working man, to see we can raise our families. Seek the Lord, live in peace, and it will grow. It will grow. It will grow. Love will make it so. The trumpet calls for all to stand. to trust and love and forgive these men. Stand in faith, hand in hand. Together we can reclaim this land so we can raise our families. Seek the Lord, live in peace. It will grow, it will grow, it will grow. Love will make it so, love will make it so, love will make it so.
Yay. Oh, thank you, Ted.
Freshly written.
Yeah, love that. Yes, it's still got that new song smell.
Thank you.
I love that. Love will make it so. Yes, love will make it grow. Love will make it so. Really beautiful. Thank you, Ted. Thank you for saying yes. I just asked him this morning. Yeah, appreciate you showing up. Yeah, I really like being able to have people from our community as offering the music, offering the talks, and this is our community, this is our space, and I really like that. Yeah. I had gotten the idea, gosh, probably 10 years ago now, to start doing a Sunday service. And as is often the case with God ideas, I say yes, and then I wait until I know it's go time. And when the pandemic first started, I knew right away, oh, it's go time for a Sunday service. Go time for our prayer ministry, go time for Sunday service. And yeah, we've been going strong on both fronts, and I'm glad for that. Yes. So Ted asked me earlier, what are you going to talk about today? And I don't know if I ever said that here. I think I probably have, but when I used to speak at Agape on Sundays, I spoke many, 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 many times at the evening service on Sundays, and I would arrive for the pre-service meeting where we would pray and talk and discuss the order of the service and that kind of thing. And people would say, Reverend Jennifer, what is your message topic today? And I would say, pretty sure it's going to be something about God. Pretty sure, and so that's what you're going to get today, something about God. And it's all I really enjoy talking about. And when I was just opening my mind earlier, what am I to talk about? I was remembering about 20 some years ago how I used to feel like there was some kind of wall, some kind of block to a higher consciousness that I just couldn't figure out how to get through it, to get around it, to get over it, to get under it. I couldn't figure out how to remove that block. But boy, did I feel it. I just felt like I just kept banging up against it and banging up against it. One of the ideas I have is like people talk about the glass ceiling. And it felt like that. It felt like a kind of a glass ceiling. Like I could have so much understanding about God and I could have certain level of dedication and practice and devotion, but that higher level of expansion, of knowing, of feeling connected, I just couldn't get there. And yesterday I did a workshop on the topic of activating intuition. And one of the things that it just felt so ominous was this feeling of there is more expansion and I can't get to it. And I don't know why, and I don't know how. And my mind would go to somebody's got the magic code, somebody's got the secret chant, somebody's got the prayer that opens the door. Somebody's got it. Who's got it? Is it some monk in a cave? Is it in some book that's channeled by an ascended master? Where is it? Is it written on the wall in a canyon somewhere, carved into the rock? Where is this door opener, key to the lock? Where is it? Where is it? Why can't I get a hold of it? How do I get a hold of it? Am I just not worthy? Is it just it's not going to ever be available to me? How can I get it? And, this is the thing about the nature of the universe from the egoic perspective. The nature of the universe from the ego's perspective is always something's missing. Something is lacking. There's never enough. There's always limitation. And I'm not good enough. I can't figure it out. It's not possible for me. It's possible for other people. It's possible for somebody. Clearly, that seems to be true. But somehow, some way, I'm defective, deficient, unworthy, and it's not possible for me. And I would say I really had moved into that place of just feeling like it's not possible for me. But that didn't make me not have a desire for it. It just left me feeling confused and a little sad that it was eluding me and there didn't seem to be anything I could do. And I felt that way for a number of years. Like I had no choice but to live in a limited way. I had no choice but to live in lack. There was no changing that for one such as I. And what shifted for me was two things that happened around the same time. And I would say the first thing that happened was, and maybe they were sequential, but the first thing that happened was I became a spiritual counselor. I became a science of mind practitioner and a licensed spiritual counselor. And I started to counsel people. And I made a commitment that I was going to see every client as perfect, whole, and complete, and see their perfection, their beauty, their magnificence. And it surprised me, truly, it surprised me, but it was easy to see it. It was not hard. Now, I might have had some judgments for their personality at times, for sure, for sure, for sure. But I knew they weren't their personality, that their personality was a facade, a device, a tool, but not who they were, not what they were. And who and what they were was perfect, beautiful, absolutely magnificent. And my willingness to see that, know that, and recognize that about my client healed my mind about myself. And that taught me about the unity of all life, that in the unity, what you think about yourself, you'll think about others. What you think about others, you will think about yourself. And basically, whatever you see in the world is pretty much a projection. It's pretty much a projection. And it's definitely a projection if you're judging it. If you're judging it. And so then the next thing for me was really to fully accept mentally that I am the dreamer of the dream, and that everything that I see, I'm responsible for, which is the teaching of A Course in Miracles. I'm responsible for what I see, and I am responsible for the feelings that I choose to have. And of course, to the ego identified person, that's a completely radical idea. Completely radical idea. And even spiritual students who say they know that, I have counseled many a spiritual teacher who teaches these principles as I do and have done, and they still will blame other people for how they feel. They'll blame other people for what's happening in their life, and they're abdicating responsibility. And they think they're upset because of what's happening, but they're really upset because they're abdicating responsibility. And they're not taking spiritual responsibility for what they see. They're blaming other people. And one of the things that really was like the icing on the cake of my shifting out of feeling like I was blocked was, so the first thing was to really see the magnificence in other people, in everyone without exception. And that's a tall order until you have the willingness, and then once you have the willingness, it's not hard at all. It's no effort. And then the second thing was to take total responsibility for what I see and what I feel, give up all blame. And the icing on the cake really is committing to being loving. Sometimes I get some flack around that from spiritual teachers, but to me, being loving is critical, because that just keeps my vibration high. And I can look at what people are doing. People are doing all kinds of things in the world that are mean and vicious and cruel, intentionally cruel. But I can still have love for the person, for the being that is subjecting others to that torture. I can still have love for the person who has lost their mind and is acting from fear. I can still have love for that person. I really can. And, but I had to be willing. I had to be willing. And so I'm preparing for Friday. We start my Stop Playing Small retreat. And I really love doing that online retreat. It's fun because it's a few hours a day for a number of days. And so we can really do some deep work together. And for me, one of the things that I find really fun is to be able to identify the ways that we have tricked ourselves into false beliefs, and to identify that some of those ways we've tricked ourselves into false beliefs, and then remembering to laugh about it and say, oh my gosh, boy, I fell down that rabbit hole and I really believed this or that. I mean, I've had some real ventures down rabbit holes in my lifetime, where I really was terrified, just terrified, absolutely like screaming Mimi, terrified. And to come back from that is, it's tremendous. It's just tremendous. And the thing about, we go down the rabbit hole, and then if we're willing, we really come back and we can gather all the learning that we have available to us from that journey down the rabbit hole. And the learning that we have can only be gathered when we have compassion. We have to have compassion for ourselves. We have to stop judging ourselves and everybody else, because then we can really harvest the learning. I recorded a podcast the other day about listening to two voices, and in there, just quoting from the Course about all knowledge is ours already. All now knowledge is ours already. I remember interviewing John Easterling, who was married to Olivia Newton-John the last 10 or 15 years of her life, and just a lovely, lovely man. And I interviewed him, oh gosh, 20 years ago, maybe more, somewhere, something like that. Anyway, he had a near-death experience where his body died, and he left the body and was going towards the tunnel of light. And he said that when he was heading towards the tunnel of light, he knew everything there was to know. He said, I realized I knew everything there was to know, everything I'd ever wondered about, because he's very much an adventurer, and he was very much interested in the secrets of lost civilizations, the Mayans and the Incans and all of that. And he said, as soon as I left my body consciousness, I knew everything. I knew all those secrets. I knew it all. And what I also knew, aside from having all that information about the history of humanity and all life, I knew that there were only two things. Actually, the way he said it to me was, the two most important things in this world are love and forgiveness. And then I asked him, what difference did it make for him when he came back into his body and had this experience? And he said, oh, I knew I never had to be afraid again. There was nothing to fear. When there's no fear of death, there's nothing to fear. And so what he shared with me really has stuck with me all these years, that love and forgiveness are the most important things, and there is nothing to fear. But the forgiveness has to be true forgiveness, like we work with in this ministry. It has to be true forgiveness, or it's not forgiveness. It's just words. It has to be the full release of the attachment to the meaning we made of things. And what I've come to recognize in my life is that we give everything all the meaning that it has for us, right? Isn't that where A Course in Miracles starts? I've given everything in this room, on this street, uh, on my body, in my mind, in my relationships, in my office, in my finances, all the meaning that it has for me. I'm the meaning maker. I am the one who assigns the meaning to every little thing in my life. And so being able to say, if it doesn't light me up with joy, if it doesn't feel delightful, it must not be correct. It must not be correct, because I am of God. I am a spiritual being, and there is no reason for me ever to feel anything but joy and peace and harmony unless I cling to something that's not true, because clinging to something that's not true is an unnecessary attack on my consciousness, and I can go the other way. So I'm going to need to off there. So that simplicity that A Course in Miracles offers us, I know people think it's so complicated, A Course in Miracles. It's actually not. It's a million ways of saying the same thing again and again and again and again and again, so that we might find the one that will penetrate with our willingness, that we have enough willingness to actually believe it, to accept it, to allow it into our awareness. So, as I was saying yesterday in the inspiration in the intuition class, the big thing is to let go of the blocks to love. The big thing is to let go of the false beliefs. Those are the blocks to love. The big thing is to let go of the judgments, the unforgiveness, the grievances, the grudges. And when we're ego identified, we have this idea that it's going to take a lot of time, that it's going to take a lot of effort, and that it's hard, and it's not easy, and it's complicated, and it takes a long time. But none of that is true. Those are all ego ideas based on believing that we are a body in time and space, where it takes time to bake the bread. It takes time to drive from here to there. But in spirit, nothing takes time. In spirit, nothing takes time. Nothing takes time. I think of some of you may have read the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. And I read it a very long time ago, back in the 90s. And but one of the stories I remember from that is his teacher said to him, "You need to slim down. You're too heavy." And I don't remember the details around that, but I just remember that. And he lost 50 pounds in like 3 days. Because he flipped a switch in his consciousness. I'm not a body. He's not a body. I remember when Yogananda had the awareness, oh, you know what? Time for me to leave this earthly plane, go do other things. He gave a lecture at the Self-Realization Fellowship, and then he said, "Okay, that's all, folks," you know? What was that cartoon? That's all, folks, right? And he went and laid down, and an hour later, he was gone. He knew it was time, he went. There's no resistance to it. When you know, you know. You know, we resist and we resist and we resist. And one of the reasons we play small is because we resist really being loved. Being loved. You know, I do put so much emphasis on being loving, but it's just as important to be receptive to love. One of the things that um, we love so much about the animals in our lives, the dogs and the cats, it's they are so receptive to love. Most of them, right? Not all of them, but most of them. And I've got two dogs here with me, and they are very receptive to love. They're receptive to treats and snacks and walks and hugs and kisses and petting and belly rubbing and ear scratching and butt scratching and all of that. They're so receptive. I mean, think about that. I've never really thought about it before, but you know, dog walking down the street sees another dog. My dog gets all excited. Oh, it's another dog. It's another dog. It's another dog. And they, you know, there's no like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes there is, you know, but you just know they're not thinking, you know, they're not very well groomed. I don't think I want to be friends with that dog, you know? No, they want to get right up there and sniff their butt. And it's like, what do you have going on? Oh, yeah, I'll let you sniff my butt. Go ahead, sniff away. Yeah, yeah. Super available, friendly, receptive. Why not? Why not? That's normal in dog land. I mean, I have a golden retriever, so if somebody came in to rob the house, my dog would be thrilled. Just absolutely thrilled. Company, we have company, you know? So very receptive. And that's the thing is I invite you to just pay attention. How receptive are you to people loving you? Like, really, how receptive are you to people loving you? How receptive are you to compliments? How receptive are you to people doing things to help you, to support you, giving you gifts? How receptive are you to that? Do you feel worthy of it? Or are you like, oh no, you don't need to do that. No, I can do that for myself. No, 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 it's okay. I got this. No, no, don't worry. Because I used to do that all the time. And I've really learned that somebody wants to help me. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Because you know what? Somebody wants to help me. That's God saying, let me help you. Let me help you. You know, you're entitled to miracles. You're entitled to help. You're entitled to friends. You're entitled to love. You're entitled to all manner of goodness. All manner of goodness. So we can learn to be so much more receptive because everything that we receive, it really does come from God. Where else can it come from? There is no other place for it to come from. And when we're receptive like that, we're in the flow of love, giving and receiving love. What I have found is that sense that there's an invisible block that I can't get through, that completely went away. I don't feel that anymore, and I haven't felt it in a long time, maybe 20 years, because I focused on giving and receiving love. And, it can be very hard. I remember once, some of you may know who Edwene Gaines is. Anybody know who Edwene Gaines is? She's a unity minister. Hope she's still alive. Um, and she was hilarious, like screaming hilarious. And she did workshops on prosperity. And what she said was the key to prosperity is to stop complaining. So she said, what you do is this: you just stop complaining for 28 days, and that will completely change your experience of prosperity. Just for 28 days, just stop complaining completely. And as you might imagine, people would be sitting in the audience and their heads kind of snap back, like 28 days, no complaining. And they're like thinking, how would that work? And then she says, and you know what? If you find yourself complaining, just start again. Just start again. No complaining. Start again. If you find yourself complaining, just keep starting again and starting again. And one day I was at church, and she was giving that workshop, and I heard these teenage girls coming out of the workshop, and they were saying, I can't stop complaining. That's not gonna, I'll never be able to do that. And they're like, yeah, you can't even, like, that's impossible. From their perspective, it was impossible. Because, teenagers have a lot to complain about. So, because they're in charge of everything, right? And so, but it works. It works. So why did I think of Edwene Gaines and the 28 days? It really is a thing. What I just decided to do is just start again every day. Just going to start again. Start again, start again, start again. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, to never give up, just start again. Don't ever give up, just start again. And it is a wonderful thing not to feel that limitation anymore. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. I think anything's possible in this world. Everything's possible in this world. And I'm excited for it. I'm truly excited for it. Now, I said this in my podcast the other day. I'm just going to say it again here, because it just came into my mind again. I feel this is really important. I've talked about this a lot, so apologies if you've heard me say it a few times. According to numerology, this year, 2025, is a 9. 2 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. 9 is the number of completion. It's the last number in the cycle. Next year will be a 1 year, a new beginning year. That's why everything in the world seems like it's blowing up, going to hell in a handbasket, falling apart, tearing down, being restructured. All of that is happening in the world, in relationships, in jobs, in finances, financial markets. Everything is being torn apart, and everything that people are trying to hold together with band-aids and scotch tape and paper clips is falling apart, and they're getting more and more challenged and frustrated to try and hold it together, because we are being pushed to give up the egoic ways and to bring forth the golden age of enlightenment. That's what is on our list of things to do. And we can't cling to the old ways and bring forth the golden age of enlightenment. So we have to choose. So everyone is being, if they're clinging to the old and trying not to let the old go, they are being shaken. They are in the spin cycle. They are in meltdown, breakdown mode. A new age is being born. The age of Aquarius literally is being born. And the old has to fall away. And so we've got a few months left to this year, right? This is the last day of August. So we've got a third of the year left to clear out all attachments to old patterns, old beliefs, false beliefs, negativity, resentments, regrets, judgments, complaints, grievances, grudges. Got 4 months left so that we do not drag these ways of living in lack and limitation into the new year and the new cycle of 9. And so my invitation to you is, drink more coffee, get it done. Get it done. Stay awake, get it done. That's what I'm doing. So I think that's why Spirit told me to call my blog Spiritual Espresso. So I'm going to say, invite you to place your hands on your heart here. And just let's see what comes up into your mind that you do not, what patterns, what beliefs, what habits do you really wish to leave behind and not drag with you into the cycle of 9, starting in January? What is it that you are truly willing to let go of? You may not know how. You do not have to know how. That is not your job. To know how is not your job. To be willing is your job. Spirit will do it if you are genuinely willing. You have to be willing to let it go. And for my money, if you really would like to let it go, demonstrate your willingness. Wake up in the morning and say, these are the things I'm letting go. And these are the things I'm stepping into. My intention for today is I am here to be truly helpful. Set your daily intentions with strength, with clarity. No more passivity. You're in charge. No one can do it for you. We have to do it for ourselves. So every opportunity to demonstrate willingness, to be patient, to be kind, to be loving, to be generous, to be thoughtful, to be willing, every opportunity is golden. Every opportunity is a blessing. So we would like to make the most of every opportunity. Everything that we receive from God. Everything we give to God, because God is all there is. So I'm going to invite you to really be with that. And I'm going to ask Ted to give us another song, please.
Picked a different song based on something you said just a little earlier. Forgiveness is love. Forgiveness is love. Forgiveness is love. If I only had one wish to make, there would be no mistake. It would be love, 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 love. Love that would lift the hearts of man, bring peace to the lands. It would be love, love, love. Love, love, it would be love, 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 love. The lessons in life are the burdens. Forgiveness is the first step we must take. The second is to realize our oneness, to trust in love in every choice we make. That's the power of love. So if I only had one wish to make, there would be no mistake. Love, 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 love. Love to lift the hearts of man, bring peace to the land. It would be love, it would be love, it would be love, 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 love.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Gosh, I just love your songs. Love, love, love your songs.
It's a new one.
Yes. So good. Michael was asking in the chat, who writes your songs? Ted writes his songs. Yeah. So we are going to go into a short breakout here, so don't go away. And in the breakout, I'm going to invite you to share what is it that you're going to focus on the rest of this year, in terms of you just do not want to drag it with you into the next cycle of 9 years. What are the things that you just absolutely do not wish to bring into the next cycle with you? So give me just 1 second here. I should have been paying attention to that. I was paying attention to the dogs. And here we go. One second. Oh. Okay, people are moving around. They're moving and grooving. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to open the rooms and I'll see you in a little bit. All right. Just going to give, if anybody needs help getting into the breakout rooms, just let me know. Let's see here. Give me a second. Oops. Okay. I think I am going to, okay, there we go. All right, beautiful. I know Ted's gonna come back and we'll see. Okay. Ah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Ah, just following my intuition here. And Heidi, can you go into the breakout room with Ted and ask him to come back, please? And
Yeah, will do.
thank you. Oh, there he is.
Oh, I think it's back. Okay.
I meant to delete that room, but I forgot, Ted. So yeah.
I thought I was being put in a corner.
You are being put in any thoughts from you about anything that I shared?
Well, you touch on so much, but for sure, the understanding, I mean, that I find myself in is that forgiveness, is love. We think, Hollywood teaches us that love is something that, comes from out there. We receive, we in turn, reciprocate, and there's a coming together and a growing in this give and take and share of love. But that's not what the Course teaches is true love. True love is literally non-attachment. If you put value on any of it, it's not love, because there's an expectation. And I really found it interesting when you mentioned the number 9. Because man, I'm ready for to turn. I mean, there are members of my family that are nuts over the politics, and I know that something happened just recently. They were like a bunch of children were taken from America and sent back to just the children. It's like,
Yeah.
and so when things like that, unravel, and you think about forgiveness and you think about love, I find myself having to go to the next level and trust and love, and know
Yes.
that this is, this is in a plan that's bigger than anything that I could ever comprehend. I'm building my life and trying to make decisions, not necessarily judgments, about only the littlest of things that I only know bits and pieces of what it's all about. Wait, there's a song there. I'll be right back. Wait. Yeah.
Here's a question. When I was talking about feeling like I was blocked and I couldn't get through, and that there must be some code, some chant, some prayer, something that unlocks the higher consciousness, the greater wisdom. Did you ever feel that way?
Paragraph 7, lesson 189, I camp on it. I camp on it. In fact, I've got a copy of it. Even though I'm not home, I brought a copy of paragraph 7. And in a nutshell, it's saying, just, be still. Forget about anything that you think you know.
Yes.
You might know anything that you've been taught, anything you've been told, any message, any lesson of the past. It even says in paragraph 7, forget the course.
Yes.
But in paragraph 8 explains, and that's my trust and love mantra, is, in paragraph 8, don't worry about trying to get to me. God says, I know who you are. I know exactly where you are. Just be still. I'm here.
Yeah.
And release, release, release. I mean, that's what it's all about. Just release. I'm an old man, and it's not easy to forget all that crap, the stuff that's happened in the past. Even though when I think I have, I have a little awakening to say, yeah, if you really had surrendered it, you'd feel the peace. You'd be able to stir joy. You'd be able to bring joy up. And anything that is, and if I'm not feeling it, it's not love, it's the ego. Period. So it's very sobering, very easy litmus test, to know. I can laugh at a few things, smile at a few things, but it's not been an easy one for me to laugh at myself and say, oh, how about that? It's like, no, how about that? What the heck? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, I really am enjoying the lessons, and it does take a full discipline to say, you know what, I'm gonna keep it present as many times as I need to during the day to keep myself on that path, because it's so easy to fall back into routines, run into an old friend, go do this, and prime example, my family, we're in Columbus, Ohio, the Ohio State football team. These people are nuts about this football team in this town. And my family is friends with the coach. I mean, literally. I mean, neighbors and friends. And so there's even more of a, rally going on with the boys. When the game was on yesterday, and it's the first game, blah, 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 and the outdoor theater, orders food and do all this stuff, I let them all go. And I stayed home and didn't go there till the last 10 minutes of the last quarter because I wanted to. I wanted to really allow myself to sense, you know, the value that I put on things. If that makes, I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but you know, it's valuable. I spend time with the boys, you know, and the grandkids. And I mean, we have a bunch of them, and that there is a value in that. But I don't want to be an example of putting all that value on that, the call an umpire makes, or replay, or you know, jumping on a player that, you know, fumbles the ball type thing. Okay, enough. But you know what I'm talking about.
I
Yeah,
do.
you know, staying present in the idea of not valuing things, you know, because every value is a fear. If you put a value on something, you're actually asking
Yeah.
for fear. Just like when you forgive, you're asking for love. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. 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 Staying present to what's real in the midst of all kinds of stuff. And you know, one of the challenges that we have that um I'm relating to what you're saying there, Ted, is um people will want us to be happy about certain things that we're not happy about, or they want us to be angry about certain things that we're not angry about, or they want us to be sad about things we're not sad about, um, because they want us to go down the rabbit hole with their opinions, their judgments, their complaints, their grievances, their grudges, so that we agree with them, because then they feel loved, they feel heard and understood if we agree with their opinions and their judgments. And people don't like it when we're not in agreement. And we could say, I understand why you think that, and I understand why you feel that. That makes sense to me, but I don't think that, and I don't feel that. And I look at it a different way. And I don't need to convince you that my way is the way for you, but I don't see it the way you see it.
Yeah. I don't say that. I just smile.
Well, you know, I really, I, I'm a spiritual teacher, and so in many situations, I know I'm being called to just model neutrality or model a different perspective, and so I'm willing to do that. And I can do it without feeling threatened if people don't agree with me. It's fine. I don't,
Yeah.
I for sure don't need anybody to agree with me anymore. So I'm glad for that.
Well,
Um,
with that said, I don't agree. I love
oh,
you.
yes, I love you too, my friend. All right, so we are back from the breakout. How was the breakout? Was that good? Helpful? Yes, good. I'm telling you, it is a time for making decisions about what's most important and how we're going to focus our attention the rest of the year. It's such a divine opportunity for us. All right, I am going to make a couple of announcements and then turn it over to Ted, who is going to give us another song, and then I'll say a prayer, and we can all go eat dinner or lunch or whatever it is we're going to do next. So, announcements. As I mentioned, I'm getting ready for my Stop Playing Small online retreat, which starts on Friday. I really love this program. when I first came up, when Spirit first gave me the whole vision of it, and I was telling some of my spiritual teacher friends about it, they said, "Oh, no, 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 you can't call it Stop Playing Small. You can't. Nobody wants that. What they want is they want to start playing big." And I said, "You know what? There's a lot of people who want to stop playing small, but don't have any interest in playing big. They just want to stop playing small. They'd like to stop living in lack and limitation and fear, worry, and doubt and holding themselves back. That's what they're interested in, but they're not interested in writing a book or, anything spectacular. They just would like to not be holding themselves back anymore. So that's what Stop Playing Small is about. It's really about eliminating the blocks to love that we know are keeping us playing small and living in lack and limitation, where we're hiding out in littleness. And so, and it's uncomfortable. Gosh, it was so uncomfortable for me. I just really, and because it was so uncomfortable for me, I found ways to medicate my pain rather than to break through, because I didn't think it was possible for me to break through. And now that I know it's possible and that it's not particularly hard, it just does require willingness and some attention. Um, I have to talk about it all the time because there's so many people who have such magnificence. Just to be in their true self in their relationship. Because if you're not your true self in your relationships, then you don't ever feel like anybody really loves you because you're not being your true self. Does that make sense? So the time for being our true selves, but we see ourselves as being less than and not enough, and we think that's our true self, but that is not our true self. So yes, Stop Playing Small is coming up, and right now there's a combo special if you also sign up for Finding Freedom from Fear Spiritual Boot Camp, which starts later in September. Remember, September begins tomorrow. And yeah, this year is going by so super fast. And Finding Freedom is my 3-month boot camp, and that's a lot of fun too, brings a lot of benefit. And it's on early bird right now, so you can double up and get the 2 discounts, the combo and the early bird. And I think you all know I write a daily blog, I record a daily prayer, I have a podcast, all those things, and everything's at powerofloveministry.net. I'm going to turn it over to Ted. And Ted, you have to tell people how they find your music.
Sundays with Spirit. That's how you find it. I am so low tech. So this is, I think, my 45th opportunity over the last 3-4 years to be here, and I'm ready to. I'm organizing and doing things with my music, so yeah, I'll be out there at some point in time. I got a nephew that's going to help me out. Right now, I'm just letting go, letting God. The phone rings, come sing songs. Okay, I'll see you. As those of you who know me, I'm part of the men's group with Brian and Rich. Wednesday we got one coming up. Next week, Monday, not on the 8th, we have our bereavement, the grief group. I use the word bereavement because of my Catholic upbringing. And that's next week. So from the loss of a pet to a loss of a parent to a loss of a child, great people who come. Thank you, Jennifer, for allowing these little ministries to pop up there and for us to facilitate that. And that's going to be my opener into this. Can I sing? Okay. So this it tells the whole story. All right, this is. Oops. Glory days. We're living in glory days. Not yet to come, but here today. Glory days. Glory days. We're living in glory days. Give up yourself and you're on your way. Glory days. Help someone. Give up yourself, stay till the job is done. Then quiet as the setting sun, be on your way. Fill the need in such a way no one else might see. With respect and dignity, let love lead the way. The reward you'll find will come from deep, deep inside. Inner peace, a grace-filled life. Glory days. Glory days. We're living in glory days. Not yet to come, but here today. Glory days. Glory days. We're living in glory days. Give up yourself and you're on your way. Glory, glory days. Take all the time that you need to clear your minds. From this breath back to the nursery rhymes. Yes, back to the words I am. To learn to laugh, we first must learn to cry. To learn to live, we must learn to die. And for wisdom, glorious wisdom, we pray. Glory days. Glory days. We're living in glory days. Give up yourself and you're on your way. Glory days. Glory days.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, Ted. Thank you for sharing your beautiful music, your
Mm,
new music.
thank you, Jennifer. My pleasure, my honor.
Yes, and anything we can do to support you and in recording it in such a way that people can buy it and have it, please let us know.
All right. A shout out. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Dean. Hi, Michael. Hi, guys. Okay.
I'm Natty. All right, I am going to say a prayer. Let's be grateful and thankful that the power of love is within us, grateful and thankful that it's true. Our story is the story of God's infinite glory, and these are the days of God's glory as us. We are grateful to open our hearts and minds to the truth and value the truth. We are sharing the benefits of our life of love with everyone everywhere because we are one with them. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. 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 Mwah. Love you.
Amen. Love you too. Love you, Ted. Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you soon.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Ted.
Bye for now.